Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's a new video. Today we are going to do a how to fix it video. So I've got some jeans and I've got some leggings and I've got some material. So I'm going to show you how we can fix it in many different ways. Today we are going to be using the sewing machine again because it's the strongest form of sewing. As you can see over here, there is a few little things, you'll find out about them in future videos. So let's dive right into it. So, the material back together, or, which is what we're going to do now, we're going to use this material, we're going to cut some off and we're going to sew it around the gap after we've sewn the gap back together. It just reinforces it so that that area that has come undone, or the hole should I say, is a little bit stronger for obviously when you're walking and things. Right, so I've got the sewing machine set up. Now I just need to find my pins and pin together the material so when we sew over it, it's easier for us to see where we're going basically. So I managed to get it onto here so I can see it a little bit more in the light. And I'm just going to quickly pin probably two little bits of it just so it's easy to sew together, so to speak. Hopefully this will work. If not, we're going back to old-fashioned traditional hand sewing. I can see that the surrounding area of the material is actually very weak. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew it on the machine, but I'm going to take it in an extra little bit, and then when we come to putting that material over, hopefully it should stay together in one piece. Don't ever rush this bit with anything that you're making, because the last thing you want is have to take it all apart and redo it all again. And believe me, it's frustrating, it's a pain. You don't want to do it. Okay, so that's pinned. I'm just going to take it from out under here and then I'm going to sew it. So if you remember the techniques that we've learned the last couple of videos, we're going to put them into practice today. So I am going to use setting number, I think I'm going to do setting 3, and then I'm going to do setting number 6. So if you remember, setting 3 was one of those just normal straight ones, straight stitches, and then we'll do a zigzag one just to make sure. Again, take your time with this, there's no rush whatsoever. Again, the last thing you want to do is have to redo everything, and believe me, it'll be a pain. So let's put that on 3. Don't forget, don't run over your pins either, that's the last thing you want. Again, like me, I'm just jiggling the material around just to make sure I get it on. Like that. Okay, so, and then cut it off. So that's actually left us really well, that, doing that extra inch. So now I'm going to go back over that again, but this time I'm going to do the zigzag stitch. So I'm going to do number 6, I think. So now I'm going to go back over that again, but this time I'm going to do the zigzag stitch. So I'm going to do number 6, I think. Where's number 6? There we are. So I've changed the setting on my sewing machine to make sure that it's set in 6. Again, cutting it, bringing it out, make sure the cottons both stay out. So that has stitched really nicely, that. So this material that I've got to cut is sort of, the best way I can describe it is like the underlayer of a skirt. It's very silk-like. But it's going to be strong, basically, for the material. So what I need to do is I need to measure the area that we need the material to go over. So, like I said earlier, I am going to do it so that the material covers a bit more of a range of space. So if I get my chalk and ruler, I can then measure out roughly how big we want it. Again, this is your preference, you can just leave it as it is, but I just want to make mine strong enough to be able to do it. So, looking around, so I've got to do a rectangle in this material that size. So we want to mark this on the material. So we need it 4 centimetres wide, so that's there. So that's wide, and then we need 10 centimetres long. So, where's my 10? There. Like that. And I'll just draw a line down. So, and this chalk really comes in handy and it washes off. So, make sure you get yourself some. So we're going to cut this out very quickly. It doesn't have to be too neat. Neat enough will be fine. Make sure you go over the line. Make sure you get material that matches the colour of the item that you're trying to fix. If you are going to use material like this, last thing you want is to have a purple pair of, let's say, shorts and a white piece of material fixed onto them. It'll just look weird. So we've cut the material. Now it's time to stitch it on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin it down where I want it to be and then sew around it. So again, this shouldn't take you too long to fix at all. You just need to be careful where you're pinning. Be careful how many layers of material you go through. You only need to go through 2. Make sure you get some good durable pins as well when you are looking for items that you want to buy that'll help you with your sewing. You don't want really horrible ones that bend really easily through material. Okay, so I have pinned it where I want it. Now I'm going to sew it. So let's move the sewing machine back into position. Now the easiest way is to slide the material, if you can, underneath the foot of your machine, which is this bit here, to where the material starts. It is a bit of a fiddle, but if you can get it perfect, you'll be fine. Okay, so I have it all in place, ready to sew. Now for me, I am going to do, again, number 3. I think that's probably the simple and easiest stitch that will hold this together the strongest. Might even go number 1 because that's even smaller, but we'll see. We'll go with it. So we're going to start, go backwards, and then carry on. Go backwards, nice, slow. Don't need to rush this part. Make sure you stay on the material. Doesn't matter how far into the material you go, as long as you're covering that area. Okay, so when you get to a corner, you're going to put your needle down, lift your foot up, and twist. If you do not keep your foot down, about that, we'll do that again. What happened was my cotton slipped out. The black one slipped out, so I had to re-put it back. So let's get this back lined up again. Things like that happen, so you just got to get on with it and fix it and it'll be fine. So, still keeping it on 3. Let's go again, shall we? Okay, so far mine's going really well. Again, some materials are a bit more fiddly than others. This material in particular is very stretchy, so it is very hard to manoeuvre around and things, but hopefully it'll work. So, what we want again, so put the foot down and turn. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but it works nevertheless. And don't rush it, you know, it's not a race to see who can do it the fastest. It's more like who can do it the neatest. So again, needle down. You'll get used to this over time as you keep going, as you keep sewing, going further in your career. Things will become easier for you. Make sure you don't run over any pins, because the last thing you want is a broken pin wrecking your machine. Okay, so we're going to keep that down. Final turn. Get this round. And there we have it. So lift your foot up, pull it out slowly. You don't want to rush this part, because you could jam the material. And then get your scissors and cut. And that has come up really, really well. I will insert a picture now. Right, so that is that one done. Trim off any excess cotton, like so. And then double check on the outside that it looks okay. It doesn't look too bad. It's not too noticeable either, which is good. And then make sure there's no other holes in the material. At the moment I can't find any, so that's that pair done. So we're going to repeat that for a pair of jeans this time. The only thing I need to do is change the needle to a denim needle, which I will show you now if I can find it. There it is. So again, sewing machines usually come with these, so don't worry too much about these. I can't get one out now. So they are pretty big. That bit there goes in up the machine, and then that's the needle eye down at the bottom. These ones are a lot thicker, so they will go through thicker materials. Okay, moving on to the pair of jeans now. So I did try in the past to try and fix these, but as you can tell, it's not gone very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this material, and the hole is pretty big, so I'm going to machine over it, and then we are going to put some material over it. So let's pin this together. So I've got 2 ribs, so I've got one either side, so I'm going to do one first and then the other, I think. And again, they're quite big, so what I'm going to try and do is move the material to fit round it better. So, one first and then the other, I think. And again, they're quite big, so what I'm going to try and do is move the material to fit round it better. So again, take your time, you don't want to mess this up, like I've said before. So as you can see, it's very frilly, as you can see. Now if this doesn't work, then we'll see how it turns out. Right, so they're ready to machine, so let's machine them, and hopefully it won't be too bad of a problem. So we're going to do exactly the same as what we did on the last pair, except this time it's just on some demming. Again, it might take you 2 or 3 attempts till you're happy with how the material is now fitting back together. So just take your time. You know the rip better than anybody else, and just work it out like that. We'll start on this side. So because this one's got frills on, I'm actually going to use number 6 again. I think, oh no, I'm going to do number 7, because number 7's a little bit tighter than number 6. So we're going to go forward, back, and then forward. Make sure not to run over any pins in the process. So just remove the pins when you've been near them. So that you don't hurt yourself with them. So that, I think I'm going to go over it again just to make sure that it's fully sealed, because these jeans are a lot more thicker than the other material that we've just been sewing. So we'll do it again, just do another once over, and then that should be ready for the next piece of material to go over. You will notice a difference in the tug, as denim is a lot thicker compared to the other stretchy material we're using. So be slow and just keep going. Alright, and just try your best. Let the machine do what it needs to do. Okay, that is perfect now. So now that side is ready for the next piece of material to go over the top of that. I'll just trim it very quickly. And now we'll do the other side. So one thing I'm already noticing about the other side is I'm finding it tricky to be able to pin any of it. So I do this, this is my second time trying to make this work. Alright, so you might have 3, 4 attempts, who knows, but just take your time, just slow, steady, and make sure you are getting all the bit that's broken or not very good, shall we say. Right, so got that into position. So we're going to do exactly the same stitch again. We're going to do it twice again so that it's strong. If this gets too much and too loose, I will have to think of another plan. So here goes. Make sure to remove pins. I will keep saying that throughout all these videos. Okay, so that's the first one done. So I'm just going to take this off. Leave my cotton back to there. And I'm going to do it a second time, and hopefully that will have fixed it partially. Oops. Material's got wedged between the foot. Right, okay, so they're all sewn together. Now we need to use this material again to fix the rest of it. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly move this over here. Okay, so because these are fairly big, I'm going to do them individually so that the material has time to be able to work its magic, really, to stay where it needs to stay. So, I'm going to measure again. Let me see if I've got anything on this bit that was... Yeah, about 10-11 centimetres on both sides. So, we can just do exactly the same measurement as we did last time. So, where's my chalk? Again, I'm using black because I've got black material. That's the only reason why I'm using it. So we just need 2 of them. Doesn't have to be too neat, but neat enough that it'll go around it. Right, so I'm going to quickly cut these out and then we'll pin them to the material and see what we've got to play with. Remember, I am no expert at this. I am just doing trial and errors, teaching myself really how to do things like this. So things might not always go to plan, but we will get you there. Right, so they are ready. So we'll bring back the jeans and we will pin these to the jeans and then sew them, and then hopefully this will work. So let's have a look. So realistically, these need to go over the bulk of where the main rip is in your jeans. So again, pin these through 2 materials, so the material just placed on and the material it's going on to. Otherwise you'll end up sewing far too much material and you will not be able to get your foot or leg back in. Remember to take your time, it's not a race. And always double check to make sure you've covered the area that is the worst. Always sew on the inside of your trousers as well, otherwise the outside will look really weird. Come on, last pin on that side. So that's that one done. Let's pin the other one and then I can show you how we sew them. So, do it that way. So again, take your time, nice and slow. So this is not going to be an easy task, by no means, but we're going to give it a go. So again, manoeuvre your material into the right position, like so. So on this one, we are going to do a straight stitch, so we're going to go back to number 3 again. So if you remember from the second video that we did, all about the stitches. So, you're going to go forward, back and carry on. Make sure that you take all the pins out before you run them over. Going to turn the material. Like so. It will get easier as you go on, but if it doesn't, it doesn't. Take that pin out. So the last little bit of this side. This one. And then we're going to do it all over again on the other side. So make sure that your needle is up out of the way, because you don't want to damage that with the material